Yo, what's going on, guys? Thank you so much for stopping back by. And as promised, I've got the post-game review for our matchup against Jacksonville tonight. Really interesting game, super good stuff, and a lot to go over. I'm going to keep this one on the shorter end. I don't want to keep you guys around too long, and it is late. It's past my bedtime by a long shot. So let's go ahead and get real quickly into the game, what I saw on the field, and then I will be covering, as usual, we've been doing this new series, top 5 performances, top 5 standouts, week to week for the Dolphins. So I will be releasing that video for you guys in the next few days here. So definitely keep your eyes open for that video coming out soon. And if you guys have not already, definitely subscribe, like, comment, and hit that bell icon for notifications so you know when we're releasing videos like this one. So the Miami Dolphins come away with the first win of the season. Let's go. It was a good game for Miami. Lots of good stuff to take away from this game. And I hit it right on the head. We did score 31 points in a victory. Here's where I was wrong, though. And it's a good wrong. I was expecting Jacksonville to put up definitely more points on the board. I was expecting, and I think I said this in the last video, I was thinking somewhere right around maybe 24 points for Jacksonville, but I really just kind of saw Miami coming together and just putting some more points on the board, and that defense hopefully being able to slow down Gardner Minshew and the guys that they had on the field. I was right about hopefully slowing them down, but they slowed them down a lot more than I thought. Jacksonville only scored 13 points in this game. No thanks to their kicker, who blew a point after touchdown. So, the extra point, he missed that. So we come away with an 18-point win. That was a really solid performance for Miami on a couple of, different things. So let's go ahead and just touch real quick on the offense, and then we'll get to the defense. So offensively, to start out the game, the first quarter, we came out with an absolute bang. It was an awesome first quarter. So rushing at will. In the first quarter, we were rushing at absolute will. Myles Gaskin was having a solid first quarter. Again, active in the passing game. Again, rushing for, 4, 5, 6, 7 yards per carry. In the beginning, it was really good to see the offense flowing against Jacksonville. And this is something that I did expect, because Jacksonville is in a rebuild. They did lose a lot of guys. And, the defensive talent that they have on that side of the ball, it's not bad, but they're just younger. They're just younger guys, so they have to grow. They need time to rebuild that side of the ball. So Miami really did a solid job in the first quarter against Jacksonville, and it was something that I was extremely happy to see. So like I said, rushing at will. The passing game was really wide open for pretty much anybody. Devontae Parker had a pretty solid game, and that was pretty much the first quarter. We put up 2 touchdowns in the first quarter, and then the second quarter, the rushing holes did shrink quite a bit for Miami. Jacksonville made some pretty good adjustments in that second quarter, slowing down the rushing game, really kind of clogging up the middle and really making it tough for our running backs to find any kind of holes inside. And then they also do have some speedy guys on the outside, linebacking wise. I mean, Myles Jack can get running. Their new guy, K'Lavon Chason, can run. I mean, he can run. He was sticking with some wide receivers this game. So they've got quick guys on the edge. They've got decent safeties. So, it was tough in the second quarter to get anything going in terms of our rushing attack. But by the second quarter, we'd really kind of established a solid play on the offensive side of the ball, and I was really excited to see we kind of just set the pace straight away, and that was a good thing, definitely a good thing for Miami, because that's something that I feel like we lack sometimes, is setting that pace right out of the gate, kind of just establishing this is how the game's going to go. We're going to control the clock. We're going to control the ball. And this is the way that the direction of the game is going. And so we really kind of set ourselves up for success right out of the gate, right in the first quarter. And like I said, even though Jacksonville did make those adjustments after the first quarter, I feel like enough damage was done at that point to kind of keep them at bay. So we did a great job opening up the game. Second down, it was tougher for the running game, like I said, but we were converting on third down relatively consistently, and that is very important in football. For those of you who know, which is pretty much everybody, you got to convert on third down if you want to be successful as an offense. And so we were doing a pretty solid job at that. We were converting when we needed to, which was great for the Miami offense. Gesicki grabs another ridiculous touchdown pass. He was pretty open, but it was a tough grab, and he came down with it. Really, really, really nice. The offense, like I said, guys, they really did their job. They showed up and they balled out 31 points. And I said this in the last video that I posted, not the pregame, but the one before that, that if Miami wants to win and the offense is putting up 28 points, 21 points, 31 points, we have to have that defense step up and be able to help us win that game, because 28, 31, right around there, that should be enough to win football games. It really should, especially in the NFL where all defenses are pretty good. I mean, and there's not a lot of teams with horrible defenses. So, if you're putting up 31, 28, somewhere right around there, your defense should be able to help you get a win. And Miami's defense did that, and I was so happy to see us make adjustments where we needed to. So let's go ahead with that in mind, moving on to the defensive side of the ball. So the first quarter for the defense was kind of rough. The Jacksonville, it was kind of the same story as Miami. They were running on us really easily. I mean, picking up huge gains. And this was by their undrafted rookie, James Robinson. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's his name. Yeah, James Robinson killed it on the ground in the first quarter. He did a really solid job. But like Jacksonville, we made those adjustments. We really did clog up the holes after the first quarter and made it harder for anybody to find any kind of open lanes in the middle after that point. So we did a good job adjusting to the running game after that point, and that's something that you have to get credit to. The offense or the defensive line really stepped up and kind of did their job in stopping the rushing attack. Now, here's where I do have a little bit of a problem. And we did better in this game, so I'm going to give them credit where credit is due. We need to get after the quarterback more. We need to get more pressure on the quarterback. Now, I think we had 4 sacks in this game against Gardner Minshew, but a lot of those were later in the game. And so, like the offense, I think it's important for the defense to set the tone when they're on the field as well and really kind of establish you're going to have a hard time getting 3, 4, 5 seconds in the pocket, because we're going to have guys in your face. We're going to have guys hitting you. It's going to be a tough go for the quarterback and the offensive line alike. And we just need to do a better job at really setting that tone in the beginning of the game. Like I said, a few sacks down the road that did, it came a little bit later, but I would like to see Miami set that in the beginning of the game. That way it rattles up the offense as much as possible and kind of cuts off any ability for them to get rolling and get kind of a chemistry going through the game. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and move on to one other important thing. This was very, very important throughout the game for Miami, something that I noticed a ton happening, and that is we played a very different scheme in terms of our defensive backs. This was something that was absolutely necessary, and I'm very, very glad that Flores and his staff made the adjustments necessary to address the defensive backs. And like I said in a couple of videos ago, I absolutely ripped into the defensive backs. Now, it is a team effort. The defensive line needs to get after the quarterback, but there is no excuse why guys should be as absolutely wide open as they were when we were playing Buffalo. So we made some very crucial adjustments to slow that down against Jacksonville. One of those being we played a little bit more zone in this game. That was something that I was excited to see. I was happy to see a little bit more zone, especially with Byron Jones sidelined for the game. He was out with that groin injury. I just think that I would prefer, especially because we've got guys like Noah Igbenogany. We were playing some, kind of third, fourth stringer guys on the field too consistently. I think with that in mind, you really do want to switch over at least a little bit to zone, so you're not throwing all of the responsibility onto them to cover established, even like decent NFL wide receivers. You just want to give these guys as much of a shot as possible. So we did adjust. We did play a little bit more zone, but I think the biggest factor with the defense is we were dropping our cornerbacks, our DBs, pretty far back at the line of scrimmage. We were giving the wide receivers for Jacksonville plenty of space right off the snap. And what that does for Miami's defense is it shuts down the deeper end of the field. And that's something that needed to happen because in games prior, the first 2 weeks, we were giving up huge gains. And so in order to address that, we pulled back at the line of scrimmage and kind of allowed our guys to shut down deeper in the field, take away Minshew's availability to throw 20 yards plus down the field. And so pretty much for the entire game, Gardner Minshew and his receivers were really just kind of dinking and dunking. There were a lot of checkdowns in this game, which is definitely a promising thing for Miami and their defense. So, like I said, guys, establishing the pace of the game, that's something that I definitely thought that the coaching adjustments did in terms of, making them throw short is something. When you're able to do that, when you're able to force a team to throw short, it really makes their passing game very one-dimensional. And we were able to accomplish that against Jacksonville, which was absolutely fantastic. I think there was only one that I can remember. I watched every snap of this game, but there's only one pass that I can remember where Gardner Minshew really did get it down the field. And that was really late in the game. This was in the fourth quarter, like literally 15 minutes ago when I was watching the game. And that was like a 25-yard gain, 20 yards, somewhere right around there, 18 yards maybe. But aside from that, guys, we really did take away the deep end of the field. Very, very good to see. We kind of just let them dink and dunk down the middle of the field. But the one problem with that, there is one issue that I absolutely did see, and it's pretty glaring. It was in this game, is if you're going to shut down the deeper end of the field, if you're going to take away any opportunity for 20-yard pass completions, and you're going to allow that offense to just kind of have, within 10 yards, just right over the middle of the field, you need to tackle properly. You've got to wrap up on first contact, and that's something that Miami definitely did struggle with today. There were plenty of plays when Jacksonville dumped the ball off to a guy, 5 to 6 yards ahead of the line of scrimmage. That could have been a relatively easy wrap up for the guys coming in to tackle, but we did miss a bunch of tackles, which really opened up those plays to go, instead of 5 or 6 yards, more like 9 or 10 yards, 11 yards here and there. And so we just need to do a better job at wrapping up at contact. If we can do that, I think we're seeing a scheme that will work for Miami. Now, this isn't the best offense in the league. It is not the best team in the league. And so that's something to consider. However, you have to have a trial and error. And I think that we had a trial and error period in this game where we saw definite success in taking away the deep part of the field. Now we just have to do a better job at addressing wrapping up in our tackling. So if we can get our linebackers, our DBs, our safeties, everybody to, as a collective team, come together and focus on, let's wrap up and tackle, knock them on their butts. You got to put them on the ground. If you can do that and only allow the middle of the field, that's where this defense is really going to they're going to start taking steps towards an excellent direction. So, guys, there was a ton of promise in this game. Like I said, not against the best team, but if we keep moving in the pace and this scheme that we have kind of found to work for us in this game, and we apply it to other teams, we can definitely see success on both ends of the field. And, as long as the offense keeps rolling, we had a good game, and I was happy to see that, but the defense is going to be the deciding factor for Miami. This game, we did a very, very good job. So, guys, that is the quick post-game analysis of what I saw on the field, things that we could improve, things that we did right, and some adjustments that we made to really kind of pull this game together, and at the end of it, come away with our first W of the season. Awesome stuff for Miami. It was just a good game to watch, something that kind of lifted my spirits, and hopefully it did the same for you guys, because it was getting frustrating with all the money that we had spent, with all the moves that we had made. It was a little frustrating to see 2 in a row losses, and really kind of at the hands of the defense. So, guys, it was great to see all of the improvements, all of the steps in the right direction. So hopefully we keep that trend and we move in the right direction and get a bunch more wins this year. So, guys, thanks a ton for watching. Hopefully you have a great night. I know it's like midnight right now, but if you're catching this tomorrow, if you're catching it tonight, either way, definitely feel free to like and comment your thoughts and all that stuff down below. Let me know how you thought the Dolphins performed against Jacksonville on this Thursday night. So, guys, thanks a ton for watching. Hopefully you enjoy your night. take it easy. I will catch you guys very, very soon with a top 5 video for the performances for this week. And as always, guys, we appreciate you watching, and fins up.